Hi there, Mandion Astral Oracles. Welcome to the show, and Chitty and I, we are glad to see you. I wanted to open a new chapter in this series of channeling plant medicines, and it's a big one because it's cannabis, not as popular as chocolate, but well, perhaps a little even more important to some people, and it is a substance that has taken and played a big part in my life for better and worse. So I think it's also very interesting to be able to just work with her energy and try to bring it forward and get some answers here. And well, partially it's getting back to Denmark. There was also a point in Mexico where just people I encountered, they gave me weed, but like in Denmark, it's ubiquitous in many ways. It's in a lot of places, and I also just found some I had laying around that I grew myself in last year's season, I believe. And then it's very interesting for me because it appears, at least to me, that the energy between something you've cultivated yourself, or that's something someone you know has cultivated, or even in like the third installment or level of being removed, where it's at least being cultivated out in the sun by someone, and not necessarily for commercial purposes. And then like this like hydroponic cannabis strains, like very strong very very strong weed grown under artificial conditions, or just very strong hashes, which we also get around here. And like the energy for me is very different, and of course it has something to do with the strength, but it's also like very interesting for me that a lot of sort of the inherent magic potential, the kind of quality that cannabis also has, where there seems to be like some powerful spirit inherent in the herb. It's somehow far more expressed when it's grown under the sun than in a certain landscape and in the soil that's naturally there. And I think like that's a very interesting. It's also an interesting experience if you're like a cannabis aficionado, going different places and smoking cannabis, and at the same time, like someone, well, partially someone wrote me and also made the remark that the channeling with the Arcturians had seemed a bit more sedate in the Moonnet, and bless you, man, because I had noticed that too. And I think it's I was just wondering whether or not it was because I had just spent an hour channeling the rain god Tlaloc in a personal session, or it was because I just have been getting stoned more recently. And so it's a good question, and I really want to I really want to illuminate it, because at the same time there was someone, Jennifer, I believe, who left a comment saying that she also like had the experience of cannabis just linking her right in, and then like it being this easy access, that it was also very like problematic to become dependable on. So I'd love to like get some aspects from her, the spirit of cannabis, on, well, what happens with her connection to the soil, and what kind of entity is she, and like how to interact with her, how to deal with like also the obvious addiction problems that often arise from just, yeah, smoking too much weed. So which seems to be like an interesting scourge of the modern world, like a thing that has grown up in the past generations, like that's as something that exists in a lot of societies on the planet, and is sort of a pitfall that an aberrant youth can take you into. So with that introduction, guys, thank you for being here, and I hope you also take something helpful from this. So blessings to you. Yes, I'm being told to speak a little louder, but I prefer to speak in a soft voice. I am the spirit inhabiting the female portion of the different types and strains of plants you know collectively as cannabis. You have mistaken me for many other collective energies. Once you thought I was related to the nettles, and now you understand that I am related, though different, from the hops, and the two of us, we arose from the same circumstances and then wandered off the hops to bless you in a different way, and I to also help you feed your animals, trim your sails, make your clothing, provide sustenance, bedding, fiber, all these helpful things I have also assisted you in. But when you come to me this day and ask me questions about my status with humankind at present, I choose to bring forward this more intoxicating energy, this energy of deep comfort. And so, as you have noticed when working with me under modern conditions, is also that I am helpful in many things that, well, you rely on your mother for in the first years of your experience. And so I become this type of pseudo or adopted mother, a type of maternal figure that guides you and satisfies these wants that are left in you. So notice that you make types of milk from my seed. You are also able to harvest oil from this very same seed. And, well, your different smoking instruments and contraptions, these things, they also provide for quite the pacifier effect. In lieu of that, there are also, yes, pipes and bongs to suckle no. So notice there is this type of, we could say almost sweetened, fatty, greasy presence to some of what I bring forward. And at the same time, there is this stirring or soft awakening. There is something singing you lullabies and bringing you sweet perspectives and gifts, other types of softness, these types of languor and slow enjoyment, all these things that you may connect to infant somatic memories and the state of being a child. And so this is where all your addiction arises. It is paradoxically from this state of full satiation and thereby also a type of sedation that you awake and come into life. And, well, even the way that you have chosen to balance your bodies is quite a balancing act. And so you are always sort of stumbling through the world, most of you. The way you walk and the way you seek out experience is informed by this ripple in time and in the sense of pleasure that is partially broken off to you as you begin your movement into the later or simply stages of human development, or put in another way, simply that you move from the state of infancy or being a baby to being a toddler and someone who is moseying around, discovering on your own, trying to chew on everything. These needs are often left unmet, in particular in civilizations that prioritize a lower degree of human proximity. That is, where people prefer to keep more distance. They live often private, if not to say isolated lives, and they often also have a certain safety distance around them where they remain somewhat guarded to, well, the incursions of others. And here you may sense that this territorial instinct and trauma is alleviated by the softness of my energy. I am someone who is boundaryless. I can even grow on almost all parts of this planet, certainly all those places where humans also make homes, and I can in many ways open up these slight blocks and some impediments that you set up in your own experience. That is, I have an opening effect, and this is often connected to the energy of the THC, as you have called it with your letters and made a novel Greek word for, and so you assign specific scientific designations of all my different component energies. And it serves you well to do so, because you have also designated that much of the physical connection, much of being assuaged and eased and tempered back into a natural rhythm of your body, it is more connected to the cannabidiol, and there here the friend here is laughing because there is this type of effect that is also connected to me where, well, words may stumble because you come into a sense of energies. There is that, what was that thing on the tip of my tongue connected to my energy, because I push you into intensity, I open you up, and then I ground you with these CBD, as you have referred to it in your acronymic way of mapping things out. There is this energy where you then find this more soothing influence of mine isolated. And it has perhaps done you much good to isolate this, but also know that, well, both these energies, I have combined them in my being for a reason. And so this person, I believe you call these individual bodies of yours, though I see them much as mushrooms sprouting up from the ground and proliferating in much the same ways as other types of vegetation. But a person, let's stay with this. This person I am speaking through asked the question of, well, why is it the case that things that you have cultivated on your own and things that you have grown in the soil where you also live or find yourself, they seem more harmonious, more connected to the thing he so confusedly designates as magic. That is, that feeling of deep manifestation of consciousness in reality, or of deep meaning imbued in reality flowing into consciousness. Those are indeed the qualities of magic. And notice that, well, this sensation is achieved by connection. And I am a type of bringer of that connection. In the positive sense, this is what I do. I also connect disparate parts of human beings trying to break down walls. But of course I can become my own barrier. I can become something that you are too engaged in that swallows you up. But I would add that human beings do have a tendency to make pathologies out of many good things. And so notice that why I am also a very harmonic influence, often in the case where I have been grown on soil and tended to under these conditions, is also that I have brought in the human being into a natural cycle of, we could call it sacrifice, or that is the work or servitude of bringing my energy forward under the cold conditions in the spring, speaking from this climate and the conditions that I find myself in here, that I grow in here. And also then the type of anticipation or difficulty in being in time and worrying about this, connecting your both tender and apprehensive, even sometimes fearful energies to my well-being, and then bringing forward the harvest and also creating harmonious conditions for me to, well, balance my energies and work them into something that is more palatable to human beings. All these things are qualities that center and anchor a human being. And so this is often the problem, that you mistake so many of the qualities that I bring forward with the effect of my energy itself. That is, many of the rituals surrounding ingesting the substance which I contain, my energy and the plant energies in it. Well, these are actually balancing acts in themselves, and the permission slip that I act as for you to allow to, for instance, relax or feel parts of your body that are often tensed up, or for you to allow yourself to, well, take a break from your phone because you may feel you are, well, a little too paranoid or concerned to operate such a device at the moment. These are all things that I then offer, and I act as this type of permission slip of patience, where you move into the receiving mode. And this is a pleasant state to be. But much as your mother cannot bring you into adulthood or walk you to the grave, neither can I solve all the problems that I can bring perspectives on. And in that sense, my energy is very much like much of this type of channeling. That is, you are funneling a type of energy into you with my energy, the cannabis energy, that is creating a type of depersonalized funnel where other energies can move in and better connect to your etheric body. And this can, well, cause you some harm if you're not careful of the information you ingest. But it can also help you in attracting positive energies, being attentive to what is moving that is not serving you, and releasing that into my blissful and merciful receiving void, the place where life always thrives and is seeking connection to other life forms. Therefore, I try to proliferate my energy on this planet, and I am doing quite well, illegality not considered. And so notice that there is a type of force of nature in my quality. It is a force of nature of release and relaxation, and it is an encouragement to connect into yourself. That is something I offer, but know that once the connection is there, you do not need to re-establish it constantly. You can move backwards and activate it when you need it, and otherwise also relish your disconnection, that is your journey away from the womb, your travel into the world, and your exploration of new and strange and wobbly worlds that do not necessarily always rely on being balanced and soothed. So these are the points I bring to you, sweet human beings. I bring you my blessings, and I offer them quite materially to all of you who may benefit from it. You have yet to seek out the full potential of my energy and my ability to also stabilize and harmonize the ecosystems of this planet, disrupted as they have become. So apply this soothing energy to your planet, apply it to yourself, and also allow this to be a reminder that you are the one applying it. You are the one taking charge in this exploration of energy, always, always going forward, exploring, expanding. It has been my pleasure to connect to you, sweet human beings. My gratitude and love. That's a very interesting experience to have her speak so verbally, of course, to have her speak at all, but just this concentrated frequency that I felt like very patient, very loving, and somehow affectionate, but also like a little indifferent to human activity, like a place that's also always available as a state of mind where the human cerebrum or the nervous system can move into. So thank you for being here, and hope you enjoyed, and blessings and love to you all out there.